Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another live episode of Jacob's Ladder. I'm happy that you're all here. Are you ready? Are you buckled up? Because I certainly am. Welcome to Jacob's Ladder. I am your host, and I have many things to share with all of you. I should probably not be so jovial, but take a look at the thumbnail, maybe you'll understand why. Because what you find out is that these things that are coming together, they are indeed something that we need to pay attention to. While I have all sorts of technical issues and everything else, I hope you've already hit that like button and you're ready to go. A lot of things going on, like literally right now. We have so many people talking to Congress. So many people are talking to Congress right now. Dr. Ouchie is in front of them crying. A lot of people crying. Jones is crying. Everybody's crying. We got a new president of Mexico. Is that the way you say it if you're Mexican? I don't know. Yo hablo español un poquito. Es muy importante hablando español porque es lengua muy bonito. I just said that it's important to learn Spanish. I love Spanish. I love that language. It's the one language that I learned. Mexico's president, a woman. All sorts of weird stuff going on with my lights. What else? What else is new? Got all sorts of lights going on. We got the gas light going on that I just talked about just a little while ago. On 7/11, that's when the date is. And I don't know if you noticed, but the trumpster, he met with everybody at Fox News. He had an interview today. I watched it while I was preparing for today's show, so I can give you a little blow-by-blow of what he said. One of the things he said was it was all a big scam. Another thing that he said was that they broke records in donations. Never got so many donations before. First time ever. He said because of it, they're going to win the election. The big scam. The big show. Coming to the rescue. The trumpster. That's what a lot of people believe. And hey, you know what? I hope it's true. I hope it's true. So much to get into today. You know, these are things that I've been talking about on the channel for a long time. If you're new to the show, I would like you to leave me a comment. Say, hey, Jacob, I don't know. All of a sudden, I get recommended for your video. And it must be one of the people that are watching because, of course, that's the way this show gets around because of all of you. So I thank you for sharing. The World Ahead was a magazine by the Economist magazine, a magazine that we have on the program talked about many times, how it sort of predicts things to come. Hence, the World Ahead 2024. I talked about this cover. I was on the Donut Show. We talked about this cover, but it looks like Ponytail herself won. But there are a lot of other things that are happening. Notice the right-hand corner of the screen, you see the Devol Comet. That's right. The Devol Comet's not done yet. It's about to become closer to the Earth than it's ever been. It's like making its rounds. It's very exciting. Very exciting. The stuff going on with the trumpster. He's got donations up the wazoo. 200 million in donations in like 3 days, somebody said. I think it was on the Timcast broadcast or something. I saw lots of money flooding the trumpster. The Trump campaign. Just 2 days ago, they raised $34 million. Today, it's like $200 million, I think. That's what one of his sons says. It's interesting. It's interesting. 7/11 is when he will be facing sentencing. 7/11 is when Elon returned to Twitter 7/11 and posted the 7/11 earlier that year. On June 20th, 2022. Very interesting. June 21st, 2022. to his indictment date, if you added it up, we talked about this on the last show, it was 711 days in between. And you notice that it was a gaslight that had the 711 on it. A gaslight. Gaslighting is something that's, it's taken over the nation. Everybody's getting so fired up, and why wouldn't they? They got so many things going on. We got stuff going on with the Hunter. We got stuff going on with the Ouchie. We got stuff going on with the Trumpster. We got stuff going on everywhere. So who's going to make sense of it? Well, if you've been watching for a long time, you're going to be blown away, because it turns out I said years ago, all of these things are going to happen. And we're going to dig into that, and we're going to dig into the incredible news. 34 counts, 34 and Strongs, the herd, the flock. Are you part of the flock? Are you part of the flock? That you're not part of the flock, not if you're watching here. You're probably a witness. You're probably a witness in this dark day that we find ourselves in. Something that I posted on social media. I want to point this out. I asked Grok. I said, in 2017, how much did the Trumpster? What was his net worth before he became president? Grok's like $3 billion. I'm like, okay, well, that's good. You'd think that he'd probably do like everybody else and do better, but he's had a hard time of things. People attacking him, tearing him down. People doing all sorts of terrible things to him, indicting him and putting him in jail and having him get a mugshot and breaking into Mar-a-Lago and all of these huge events. They even somehow orchestrated, they didn't make the earthquake happen, but the 4.8 earthquake that happened at Trump's golf course. Strange. All of this stuff, very strange. But do you know that I asked Grok, I'm like, well, how much did he make in 2024, considering all these terrible things that have happened to him? 7.5 billion. That's his net worth. More than doubled it. Now, you would think, he's a smart businessman. He's winning. That was what I put out on an X. I got to tell you something. Let me tell you something. If you get triggered by any of this stuff, I apologize. I think that it's time for me to just rip the Band-Aid off. It's not like whatever I'm doing is not really working when it comes to, financial means. So I'm going to try to be a little more transparent with you all. Not that I haven't been in the past, but I've been flowery. I try to say things in a certain way. It's not but I've been saying it for a long time. I put this out. That's why I want you to follow me on X, Jacob Israel 71. I've been telling everybody since I had that weird dream before the election. I said that this whole thing smells rotten. Whole thing smells like a setup. I always said on the show, I'm like, I don't know if it's a setup or if it's just, God kind of showing me that, the good things are going to happen. I think all of this stuff is going down because it's meant to go down. But I don't think that it's on the up and up. Because I got to tell you something. I'm an average American, and I make less than this average, just so you know. Back in 2017, that was more my average when I was selling mattresses. The average American, right? Household income, $192,000. That was before 2017. But in 2024, according to Grok, that's on X, that's the AI that Elon is so just excited about. 121,000. Who do you think's donating to Donald Trump, where he gets the record donations? This whole thing has to do with what? $130,000 payoff. 130. Something I've talked about on the show a lot. 130 days from when Esther was given the ability to fight. 130. And all this stuff that we're seeing right now, all of it lends to something smells rotten in Denmark. It really does. But everybody's going crazy. Everybody's so excited. He was just at UFC. So he gets indicted on the 30 34 charges, which in Strong's is the word for herd in relation to demons possessing a bunch of pigs that end up going headlong down a cliff. Well, he showed up at this event, UFC 302. You'll notice that I wrote 23 because 302 just backwards. I know, maybe it's a stretch, but this is what stood out to me. 23 is that big time Illuminati number, they say. 23, the master number. I said a headline match won by submission. A lot can be revealed when you look into the meaning of names. Knock, knock, and the door opens. And then I wrote Parable of the Pear Tree, which ironically, this beautiful parable, this beautiful parable is going to tie in pretty good. At the end of the show, I'm going to go into it. First, I want to touch on all of this other stuff. So he shows up at this UFC event. The UFC event, which, I like names. So I look up, the guy who wins his name. His name means submission. And that's what's going to happen. It's like you're not going to do things the right way. Come hell, high water. We're going to give you a leader that's going to make you submit. You're going to tap out. I said it was going to happen. It's happening. It's here. Nothing's going to change it. Not 34 counts. It's all working to the advantage of whatever is playing out. Go figure. You think it's a setup? You think? I don't know. I think God's in charge of it all. But I tell you something, I'm getting tired of worrying about telling you that I think this whole thing it's a scam. I feel like it's all a scam. But yet I understand that the scam has to happen. There's a guy on Twitter. His name's Donnie Dark, a nice guy. I emailed him and I DM him. He's one of the, I don't want to call him a Nick at Night because he'll acknowledge me publicly. But he's been a fan of the channel for a long time. He's watched me. He's grown, gotten very, very big on Twitter. And behind the scenes, I encourage him in his relationship, in his life. He makes a point of saying, that Trump's the bad guy. He's the big Antichrist. I on the show have been saying for a long time the Antichrist is within all of us. It's that lie that's in our head. It stands in the temple of God. We're the temple of God. It's not nice to be pointing fingers. But it is strange that the video that I did, which I'm not going to share today, I'm sure that a lot of you were sick of it if you've seen it a million times, the video where I had the dream of him with the coffin. I said, he's going to lose, but he's going to come back stronger than ever before, like it's all a big setup. And it happens. So he ends up going to this UFC event after that, after the terrible, what he calls a travesty, what he calls a sham. He literally called all of this a sham. He said it was a sham. And because of the sham, things are going good. It's interesting. It's kind of like telling you what it is. If it is, I don't know. It doesn't feel right. Doesn't feel right. So he posted a 17-second clip, which of course is the 17th letter of the alphabet. You know what that is. The headline match was won by submission, but the two fighters, their two names meant submission and pear tree. Pear tree. Let me just show you this. Let me just pull this up really quick. And let me just play this for you because it's interesting. Later on, we learned about UFC fighter Kevin Holland and how he was, like the instant he won his match, he ran. Let me play this for you. Make sure that it's not. So he wins his match, and as soon as he does, he literally ran all the way over to the, we'll say the chain link fence. I mean, this guy's been fighting for hours, right? And now all of a sudden he's doing this. And you're going to see the first thing he does, he's going to go over, he's going to pay tribute, he's going to pay honor to the president, to Donald J. Trump. Because Donald J. Trump is worthy of praise. Pretty interesting. Pretty interesting because I got to tell you something. They all seemed to be singing his praises. And you know what? You don't have any other options, right? You don't have any other options. All the stuff that's happening, it seems like it's really, they're really coming against them. If I didn't think that all of this was weird a while ago, I probably wouldn't. I'd probably be cheering all with you, you know? I'd probably be excited with you. Just so excited and not wanting to stop singing the praises because, of course, things have been so terrible. And so it's been a dark day. But my goodness gracious, this man is made out. He's made out very, very well for himself. This stuff that that you're seeing right now, none of this is like a terrible thing. It's all kind of working together. And he's actually coming out of it brighter and better and stronger with an American people that are united behind him. My God, Elon Musk himself, he's down. He's down with the trumpster. He loves Donald Trump. Ain't that right? Ain't that right, Elon? Don't you love him? You love him. You love talking about him. You love hearing about him. You love him. All of that stuff. Well, guess what? Turns out that let me see if I can pull this up. Looks like we're going to have a little bit of a space that's going to go down. Let me see if I actually pulled this up so I can show this to you. It's going to host a space. Elon is going to host a space, and we're going to hear from the Trumpster on X. He hasn't been on for a while. He's been off. Last time he came to X was actually within a certain amount of time when I kind of said he might. It's interesting. But it was when he dropped off the Blue Steel Zoolander headshot, when he got arrested. Hasn't been on X for a while. Now, I call these little things tests. I think he'll come back and announce his running mate, which, of course, I think I'll be very disappointed if not. I think it's going to be Tulsi Gabbard. I've been saying this since she was leaving the Democratic Party. Don't know any other people that said that, but, we'll see what happens. If it doesn't happen, doesn't mean that any of the other great stuff that's kind of come to pass has come to pass. Just a speculator here. Just somebody who wants to do the right thing. But I'll tell you one thing that came to pass. I said that Elon would endorse Donald Trump, and I said, why don't you do a space with him? How long is it going to be? What's that Illuminati number? Tell me in a live chat. Put it down. Elon's probably watching. A lot of people are saying, hey, Elon, hey, Elon. You know what? We hope he is. I got to tell you something. Out of everybody, I think if there's anybody that can do something to make things good in the world, he's the most powerful man in the world. I think it's him. So let's pray for him. But it's all going to go the way it's going to go. It's all MAGA, baby. Right? It's all kind of like sorcery. It's all playing out before us. Well, if you look at the bottom left-hand side of the screen, you'll see on December 23rd, there's that number 23, Michael Jordan's number, right? Isn't that the number? 2023. Yes, Skull and Bones is 322, but 23 is a very, very important number. So I wrote on 12/23/2023, I said, when will Elon endorse Donald Trump? I'm thinking a space with the two of them. I mean, come on, man of the people. Exciting days, G0D'S, if they be corrupt. That was 23 weeks ago. That was 23 weeks before it was announced. 23 weeks. 23 weeks after I say, hey, Elon, when are you going to endorse him? And I do that on the 23rd of December, 23 weeks later, and he's saying, we're going to do a space with the trumpster. He's really getting a lot of people. Listen, this whole 130,000, 130 days, story of Esther, Hammond, all this stuff playing out. There's a reason for it all. Like, I believe, but what do I know, man? What do I know, right? Not anybody important. But I believe that all of these numbers are significant. I believe the time we're in is spiritually significant. I believe it. How many other people say how long on the 23rd? It's 23. We go back, look at every one of my videos last week, week before. It seems like every video now, there's a time frame. And what we said was going to happen is going to happen. It's weird, but it's awesome because it's all working together for the good. Submission of the pear tree. That was the name of the match. But another quinky dinky do. Supposedly somebody who is a big fan of the trumpster himself, Jones. Well, he's crying the blues right now. After the whole thing that happened with the trumpster, he really, man, he went to town. I got to tell you something. Trump didn't cry. Trump was like a baby. Oh, they're going to tear me down. Trump was like, they're sick people. This is a scam. I'm going to take care of this. I'm the best. I'm going to change the country. We're going to do this. Anybody does the wrong thing, we're going to off them. We're going to get rid of them. Alex crying like a baby. Alex, who, by the way, I said 3 days before he was censored off of all his platforms that he'd be censored off all of his platforms. But here you see something that I posted. And I said, Quinky Dinky Doo, Alex Jones says he's been duped. 1 year and 10 days from my post below, which was a video that I did. The setup psyop. I re-aired this video to show the world the psyop before it happens. God speaking, revealing the liars, creating the fires in your mind. Watch and wake. And there you have another 23. Go figure. That just hit me. I didn't even think about that before. That's interesting. 23 of May, 23rd. You won't believe it. Alex Jones believes Kanye and company set him up. And the setup, it's fake news. I did this whole thing, and then he's breaking down in tears. Camping out, sleeping in his studio. Oh, still got the studio. He's been duped. I've been duped, he said. I've been duped. And on the 23rd, when was that again? 1 year, 10 days earlier, I do a video about him crying the blues about being duped. Quinky dinky doo. All around. What does it matter? I'll tell you what it matters. The corruption's being revealed. And, just the guy who's just speculating here. Asking God, tell me, teach me the truth no matter what the cost. Let me encourage people. Let me keep people from doing dumb things and following after the lies. These little worms, these little mind worms, these parasites that they're infecting all of you with to get you to choose sides and go headlong down that road to the destruction. Breaks down in tears. He says, they're going to shut him down because he was duped. David Knight, you know who he is? He worked for him for a while. He was very quick to say fake melodramatic fundraising grift. He worked with Alex. Knows a little bit of something about him. All I know is I look at I judge a tree by its fruit. Look, there is some stuff in the old Illuminati hand card deck that, truth behold, sent that to me, and I thought, wow, that kind of does look like him. Did they base these characters on him? I don't know. Are any of these things that we see, is any of it real? Back in, was 2014 or so, Obama created this behavioral science, think tank to help mold the minds of everybody who's in the country. Yeah. And I think that we're paying the price for that right now. I think we're paying the price for it. But sometimes maybe they just say the quiet part out loud. So this was a clip from today. By the way, if you want to hear what the trumpster said on Fox, it's just 52 seconds. And you can hear, hopefully I transferred over okay.
Good news is that I think we've set a record beyond all records for fundraising. That's like a poll. And another one just came out just before I got in that we're 6 points higher than we were before. So I don't know if that holds up. I mean, I'm just not sure. But people get it. It's a scam. And the Republican Party is really, they've stuck. They stick together in this. They see it's weaponization of the Justice Department, of the FBI. And, you know, that's all coming out of Washington. You may think.
I mean, you know, it's a scam, right? You know, it's like he reminds me so much. I got to be honest. Like, I grew up with my grandfather. I look at him. He looks like my grandfather. He sounds like my grandfather. It's like I want to love the man, you know? I really hope that the Lord uses him to do good. But this whole thing, it's like I saw it coming.
It's you may think it's brag. Take a look at who opened the case. I'm not allowed to talk about it because I have a gag order. I'm probably, I guess, the first presidential nominee and the leading crooked Joe by a lot that's not allowed to talk. Maybe they're doing me a big favor. Who knows? But I'm not allowed to talk. I'm gagged. Nobody's ever heard of it. Guys, what's good news is that I think we've set a record beyond all records for fundraising. That's like a poll. And another one just came out just before I got in that we're 6.
The question becomes, like, how many of you are really paying attention to all this? How many of you have actually, did you all listen to this? I mean, what do you think? A lot of people would say he's a great president. Michael X in the comments section is saying that right now. A lot of people believe that he's done great things for this country. I know people that have worked with the man. They say he's a good guy. I sold his daughter a pillow. I don't know the man's heart. I can say that there are other people that I think are a lot worse. Jones being one of them. Not a fan of his. Never been a fan of his. I feel like he's the reason why a lot of people are suffering today, especially with all the stuff that happened. You know, now the real censorship begins. Take a look. Told you so. You take a look at the right-hand side of the screen. Okay, now that's going back to 2018. I have not changed my tune. Same story. I said a reminder that 3 days before Jones was banned, I did a show about the real censorship that was going to come of it when it happens. Even Anonymous is turning their back on this guy. Could you imagine if one of your children was there? See, here's the thing. This is my issue with Jones. If you don't know something is true, don't say it's true. Prove it. Prove it. You got all these. How much money you got, Jones? I'm barely getting by. How much money does he have? You can't prove it? These things. People are going to listen. They're going to stick up for him. They're going to. Because he gets some things right. That's the thing, right? Because he gets some things right. Interesting. You know what Babylon means? Confusion by mixture of lies and truth. You want Babylon? Go to Babylon. They're rewarded. He's not being held back. He's trending. He makes a lot of money. He's got a lot of money. People that work for him saying this whole thing that he's doing is a grift. But hey, you know, whatever else. People are always saying how great he is and how prophetic he is. I just showed you 2 things on this show in a certain amount of time. And there's a reason why I'm not shouted from the rooftops, but that's going to change. Days are coming. Things are going to happen. Things are going to happen. A year ago, I said the tide was turning. More than a year ago, in fact. Take a look at the left-hand side of the screen. Take a look at all those people in the thumbnail. Today, who's before Congress? There's Ouchie. There's Unter. Who's laughing, having fun, pointing fingers? There's Elon. Who's looking like a dummy? There's Biden. Head of that organization, she's gone. The emperor himself, he's gone. There's Tucker laughing. Who's behind it all looking? The trumpster. That's the thumbnail. May 19th, 2023. A year ago, House of Cards is about to fall. Middle of the screen. Don't you know it's witchcraft? And here we are. I said a while ago he was going to be thrusted back into the highlights. That I said, who here thinks Fauci should be thrust back in the headlines again, held to account for all he did? And then here we are. Poised to get grilled, and he got grilled. Some people tore him apart. Some people builded him up and lifted him up, said how great he was. Bottom line is, the tide has turned. I said it would. We are entering into that thing they call the reset. Things are being changed. And the only thing that I can say is enjoy the ride. Do the right thing. You're going to be all right. But the people that aren't going to do the right thing, they're going to have some big problems in the coming days. They're going to have some big problems in the coming days because it's not going to be set up for those kind of people anymore. What just happened in Mexico is incredibly interesting. I recently did a video with the donut. I did one myself. For years, we've been talking about the Economist magazine cover. I'm going to talk about it a little bit more now. It's going to blow your mind if you're new. By the way, we got like 1,000 people here already. Will you hit the like button? I don't think I told you to hit the like once. X out of chat, do it for me here. And if you're watching the show, make sure you hit like. You press pause, hit like, come back. Really helps. The earlier the likes come in, the more the comments, the more the shares, the better the channel does. But I'm telling you, I can't just rely on the old YouTube. I need a lot more. I need your help. So back on December 1st, 2023, they did this edition called The World Ahead. You'll see I shared on X the news of the first female Jewish president of Mexico. She's a climate scientist and an environmentalist. She was elected in a historic vote, a victory for Latin America. Some are saying, congratulations to Claudia Sheinbaum, or is it more proof? You take a look. Let me blow this up. Let me blow this up so you can just take a look at this. Let me pull this up. There we go. If you take a look at the ponytail, she's kind of known for the ponytail. There you go. World Ahead. December 1st, 2023. They knew it was coming. Proper planning and all. Or maybe they just saw her as the running, that in a country that's predominantly Catholic, that the first female Jewish, God bless her, we should have women be presidents and everything else. And I would be a little more on her side and more celebratory of her accomplishments if it weren't for the fact that she was like all gung-ho about getting all those kids. Get to the pharmacy and get your shot. Intuition alone told me to keep my son alone. Keep my son away from that. Keep my children away from it. Intuition. Here's the person who's ruling the country, right? Mayor of Mexico City. Take a look at the right-hand side of the screen. This week, we're doing it to the girls and boys. Remember, these days, it's the turn for those that are born between June 27th And December 31st, 2000. Here's how you can do it. I shared on X picture after picture. It was like I could scroll her feed. How many people? And I think to myself, if that was me and I was in a position of authority, knowing what I know now about all of the incidents about how children didn't need to worry too much about this at all. And that because of what they rolled out, there is a very high incidence of issues, heart issues, when it comes to young children. I'm not a doctor. I don't know. I'm just speculating. I got to be careful what I say. But it's like, it's now news. I'm just saying what they're saying. Shouldn't she feel a little bad? God, I feel terrible that I didn't really think this thing through before I was going on every day and encouraging people and showing videos of all the children lining up. Climate scientist. So that's all I needed to know. That's all I needed to know. Because I remember back then when all this stuff was going on, I told people, I said, I'm not a doctor, but you should trust your intuition. And it's like, you got to think these things through. And when things started to roll out and all these people did what they did, I had to leave my job because it was going to be like a thing. You got to do it or else. And then I think they adopted the policy, you get like $50 taken out of your paycheck. What? And that was still going on for a while at my old job. This is terrible. It's terrible what they did. It's terrible. Did they know better? Did they think they were doing the right thing? That's what I would like to see. I would like to see humility. I would like to see people saying, you know what? With what we had to work with, we thought that was the best. I really believe that would be the case. I feel terrible now. No one's saying it. No one's saying it. But yes, it's a victory. It's a victory. Except for the people that maybe, ended up having a big problem. Now, here's the Economist magazine about almost 7 years in between. There's The World in 2017. That came out in 2016. And then you got The World Ahead in 2024. That came out years later. One of the things that I believe that I discovered this, pretty sure, almost positive. I think the Lord kind of inspires me to figure out a lot of stuff. But if you take a look at that cover, you start to see, 2017, the Tower card, the world was going to be divided. 2018, Trump becomes, it's judgment. He's the king of the world. Then, of course, 2019, you have this kind of like this big sorcery event that happens and the whole world is a part of it. And then 2020, because of that whole thing that went down, now we all got to become hermits, stay in our house. Then, of course, 2021 was all about all the people that were dying. Then 2022 was like, well, the stats are going to come out now. We need to do the whole magician thing. We need to do the whole magician thing and get people back on course. 2023 is the Wheel of Fortune, which means maybe it's time for them to pay the piper. Bad people are going to get their due. 2024, which is interesting. You got a bunch of children inside these little sun-like apparitions or stars. In the center, it is a comet. In 2024, this year, we are very much connected to a comet called the Devol Comet. It was once known as the Millennial Falcon Comet. And it's made its approach back. Remember I told you my birthday's coming up June 11th? June 11th, it's going to be 53 years old. And I said it was going to be coming back around again. Devol Comet's returned. Now, you know what's weird is when I was looking into the Devol Comet, I started to realize that some of the numbers that they associated with this, like the amount of time and the distances, I said, wow, they're very connected to things that I actually put on thumbnails. So like if you look at the upper right-hand corner, you'll see observing and studying the Ponsbrook Comet. It's 12P. That's the name of the comet. Lisa Gordon, thank you very much. Lisa says, a prophet told me the country would be split in half by today. That didn't happen. You're doing a great job, Jacob. Wish I was rich. I'd help. Oh, come on, Lisa. Hey, by the way, everybody that super chats, hugely helpful. I am grateful. If I ever miss you, please do email me. I always have my email address in the description of the video. And you can always go to the description of the video if you want to get any of the merchandise. All of these things help the channel. Merchandise. You can get yourself trulyfreehome.com, toxic-free products. Get that right now. There's a big thing going on, and you'll save 30% off of their big thing. Go to trulyfreehome.com. Get stuff with no toxins. All of these things, I just sent a post out to Patreon. I said that I wouldn't even be able to do what if Patreon was gone, and it's not much, right? It's not much compared to a lot of other people because I don't put stuff behind a paywall. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Everything that I think is important, I'm not going to hide and make you pay for it. I want to share it. I share thumbnails ahead of time or some other things. But on Patreon, I said, thank you so much because literally Patreon wasn't here. It was like, what was it? $888 today. That's what I saw coming in a month. That's amazing. But if it wasn't for that, I couldn't do it. I was making more money working selling mattresses. That's the truth. Today, I'm an average American. I'm not a billionaire like Trump, who's like more than doubled his money. I'm not like Elon, who's like, I'm not like these people. I'm like you. But we make idols and heroes out of these people. So when like someone like Lisa or somebody else takes a second to say thank you, that means a lot. That means a lot because you watch like a Tim Pool broadcast, people are like doing it all the time because, oh, he's famous. Meanwhile, he's got the stuff in the background that shows everybody. He was on Joe Rogan. All of these people, they're doing great. And they're all saying the same thing. Could it be, perhaps, there's a reason for that? If they're dividing you, if they're getting you angry and making you hate other people, it's a good call. Maybe they're lying. But this Devol Comet, which I think is incredibly significant because of the book of Revelation and the fact that the devil comes down as a judgment. The fact that this is going on right now, it's incredibly prophetic to me. But when I read this, I was really surprised to find out that the planet on April 21st passed within 119.7 million miles. Now you'll look, once I saw 119, I thought of 9/11. And then I saw the 7 and I thought of, oh my goodness, didn't I do a video with a thumbnail where I had like the 9/11/7/11 in connection to Elon returning to Twitter on 7/11, in connection to Donald Trump, in connection to a comet? It's weird. And it turns out 1 year, 9 months, 19 days ago, 9/11, 9/11. Very interesting. But we have this once-in-a-lifetime event. This rare Devol Comet is set for the closest approach to the Earth. There was a time I was worried about this comet. Like I was worried that, I don't know, something just gave me a weird vibe about it. But do you know that when it went around the sun, that's when we had that huge solar blast? And not a lot of people reported on this, but I did. That solar blast smashed the tail. Wiped the tail clear off, which I said to myself, well, if we had to worry about that comet, probably don't have to anymore. Because what I do is I pray and I hope that the world gets better. How can we make the world better? Well, Jesus said to us, whether you believe it or not, if you have faith the size of a mustard seed, if you have faith as a grain of a mustard seed, in another chapter, you could say to this sycamore tree, be cast into the sea. You could say to this mountain, be thou cast into the sea. If you have faith, there is nothing that shall be impossible for you. Jesus taught us this. If you have faith, nothing is impossible for you. So I've been on here for a long time. praying, Lord, teach me the truth. Let me know what I'm supposed to do. Show me what's happening. Let me see. I get so excited when here I am on another show, yet another show, where I can say, this happened, this happened. Look back then. We're right on track, people. We're right on track. So maybe now we need to use a little bit of our faith for ourselves. And we need to start seeing the world a little bit better. We need to start seeing corruption really being held to account. We need to start praying that the truth be revealed. If we do this, maybe we'll have a different world on our hands. Maybe we'll have righteous rulers that'll take over. What is coming, I promise you, is better than what has been. For some of you. I think it's best for everybody to get their house in order. You know, somebody on X reminded me of Michael Packard, the guy that got swallowed by the whale on June 11th, like 3 years ago. Here we are. 3 years later, 3 days, 3 nights in the belly of the great beast. Here we are. We're going on the anniversary of It's Not My Birthday. Are people going to repent? Are we going to see a new day? I think so. Or are we going to continue to put our faith in people that are clearly known by their fruit? If you can't tell if a person is a godly person, you need to pray and ask God to help you with that. Because a lot of the people that everyone looks to as a hero, their fruit is easily seen. You can't have a freshwater cistern that also has salt water. You get what I'm saying? It's either salt water or it's fresh water. Can't have both. Let's use some faith and let's get things going. And if you want to donate to Donald Trump, donate to him. If you want to donate to Alex Jones, donate to him. Do what you want to do. I don't know their hearts, but I do know I said a lot of stuff was going to happen with them, and it happened. And I feel like it's all sus. Is it a dark day for America, like Trump was saying? Or does the light come after it's been the darkest? I think the light's coming. So give me a smash of the like. Share the video around. Tell your friends. Have the best day ever. Get a copy of The Calling. I think I got it here somewhere. Go to Amazon.com. The best novel you will ever read. Believe me, so many people are like, I finally got it. Oh my goodness, I've never read a book cover to cover. You'll be done with this in like a couple of days. You won't be able to put it down. There's more to this novel than you think. All of that stuff is helpful. All that stuff is helpful, and I think it'll make your life better. All right, I love each and every one of you. I'll talk to you soon. Don't forget to share this around, and make sure you leave a comment. Let me know what you thought. Bye-bye.